Hello and welcome. Happy Monday. Today we're going to be talking about the newest fragrance releases that have been announced over the past week, and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts about whether or not I would purchase them and why. This is a series that we do here every single Monday where we sit back and we analyze what's new on the market and kind of gauge what we like and what we don't like. This is an effort to be a little bit more objective with what's coming out, to be more intentional about what's going into our collections, and I genuinely do enjoy doing these videos for you every single week. But if you're interested in seeing more content from me, I also post additional videos every single Wednesday and Friday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. We're going to kick things off with a new release from Lattafa. This is a new collection from them called the Confession Collection. Now they have two fragrances here, Her Confession and His Confession. So first, let's get into Her Confession, which is the feminine version. This fragrance will have top notes of cinnamon and mystical, amid of tuberose, mahonio, jasmine, and incense, and then a base of vanilla, tonka, and musk. Apparently, this is supposed to smell very similar to Blanche Bête by Liquide Imaginaire. At least that's what the feedback from a lot of content creators has been. And then the next fragrance, called His Confession, is supposed to smell of lavender, cinnamon, and mandarin at the top, amid of mahonio, benzoin, cypress, and iris, and then a base of patchouli, cedarwood, vanilla, incense, amber, and tonka. This fragrance apparently has similarities to an Atelier des Ors fragrance called Larmes du Désert. I haven't tried that one. I have tried Blanche Bête though, so seeing the new release and seeing it have similarities to Blanche Bête is actually kind of intriguing to me because I love Liquide Imaginaire. So many of their fragrances are on my wish list. Blanche Bête has been one of the most hyped up fragrances so far, and interestingly enough, one of the most polarizing. People either really like it or really dislike it, and I do think having an affordable option that's similar to it, at least not a clone but similar, is pretty helpful. I don't know how similar it is. This is just what I've gauged based off of what I've seen online, people talking about this, and also on Fragrantica. I think this is a release I am interested in. I think I'm interested in both fragrances. I would like to see if I can get decants of these. In terms of the bottle design, I actually don't mind it. It's very ostentatious and very out there, but it's not so ostentatious that it's ugly. And I will say this, there have been some releases their bottles, in my opinion, can be classified as ugly. Here, this is not the case, and I actually do like it. I think it's unique. I think it's interesting, and this is a release I would be interested in trying out. So this will be a smash in my book. I know that sounds really weird when I say that, but this whole series started out with smash or pass. Would I buy it? Would I not? And I feel like everyone already knows what smash or pass is all about, and it's kind of catchy. So that's why I started this. That's why I started this series calling Smash or Pass, basically. So we have a few new releases from Neydo. Now, Neydo is a new affordable niche brand that has been kind of making its rounds lately, and I'm actually really interested in trying out some of their fragrances in general. So they do have 3 new fragrances here. They have Neydo Breathe Out, Fiery Fig, and Alien Fruit. So let's break these down one by one. The blue one is going to be called Breathe Out. This fragrance will have Divana, elemi, sea salt, and marine notes at the top, amid of frangipani, cardamom, ambrette, and incense, and then a base of cashmere wood, sandalwood, amber, and musk. Next, Fiery Fig will be a woody lactonic fragrance with notes of fig at the top, amid of green notes, coconut, milk, fig, and milk, and then a base of fig tree, cedar, and bark. This is actually one I'm really interested in. I love like the lactonic fig that they're going for here. And then last but not least, Alien Fruit will be a fresh, fruity fragrance with notes of pomegranate, yuzu, and red currant at the top, amid of red fruits, cyclamen, and guava, and then a base of white amber and musk. I'm actually really interested in trying these out. And Neydo is actually a pretty affordable niche brand. I believe their full bottles run around $100 for a niche. That's pretty good. I haven't tried anything from this brand, but I have it on my radar. I would say out of the selection, the two fragrances that are most intriguing to me would be Fiery Fig and Alien Fruit. Both those fragrances have notes in there that I really love. The fig in Fiery Fig, as well as the lactonic notes, as well as Alien Fruit having yuzu. I really like yuzu. It's like a bitter citrus note, and I find that it's chronically underutilized and underappreciated in fragrance, and I like to see more brands coming out with yuzu as a fragrance note, and I'm actually really excited about this release. This will definitely be something I'm going to keep my eye on. Next, we have a new launch from Epico. This is going to be called Vanille Rum, and even though the note rum might make this sound like it's going to be a bit boozy, this actually looks like it will be a little bit more complex than that. So we have top notes of vanilla flower, opanox, and malt, a mid of Davana, rose, bourbon, and geranium, and then a base of vanilla absolute, tonka bean, patchouli, and cloves. I think this is interesting because they're clearly kind of juxtaposing boozy notes that you would find in a lot of like typically boozy fragrances with something that's a little bit more zesty and aromatic, and I actually do like this. So far we've had a few releases that I'm genuinely interested in trying out, so yeah, this is very exciting. I mean, so far this video is turning out good. Let's see if there's anything I would not like. So we have a new fragrance by Olfatology, and unfortunately this might be a fragrance that I am probably going to pass on, and I'll tell you why. This is going to be called Magnetic Mango. So this has top notes of peach blossom, salt crystals, and lemon leaves, a mid of mango, tuberose, passion flower, and jasmine, and then a base of sandalwood, musk, and cedarwood. Objectively, this fragrance sounds very exciting, but the reason I'm going to pass on it is because I consider mango to be a more tropical accord, and based off of the general look of this fragrance, this would probably be better suited for the warmer weather for summertime, and now we are not in summertime anymore. We are in the fall time, as you can tell possibly by my outfit. It's no longer summer, it's fall. So I don't know if I'd be spending money on a fragrance that is kind of calling my name, but for summertime. This is probably going to be a fragrance I would pass on. This is supposed to be an exotic and tropical selection of notes, a playful, inebriating, sunny perfumed language with juicy and delicious accords. Yeah. So right now there is a huge fragrance conference going on in Florence called PT, I believe, and this fragrance has been launched or has been announced at that conference. So I do think the reason they launched it right now is because of that conference. But for the general consumer, I think it makes more sense to just launch this in the summertime and just to come up with something else for the fall time, because I can't really picture myself wearing a mango in the wintertime. It just doesn't make much sense to me. Okay, so new from Bois 1920, we have the fragrance Marasma. This will have notes of pineapple, cardamom, bergamot, maracuja, and finger lime, a mid of artemisia, salt crystals, black pepper, and sea lily, and then a base of patchouli, gaiac wood, cedarwood, and amberwood. Again, this is a fragrance that seems very summery, but they're launching it now when we're right on our way to the fall time. So I can't really get my head wrapped around this fragrance very much. The marketing is very oceanic, very marine inspired. So this is probably not going to be something I'm interested in. It's just not the right timing, but the notes look absolutely divine. So just based off of the notes, this would be something I'd love, but I would much rather wear something that has pineapple and lime in the warmer weather, so this will be a pass. So we have some new fragrances from Gisou, I believe 6 new launches just in time for fall. And if you are someone who loves gourmands, listen up, because these new hair perfumes look absolutely beautiful. So we have the first one, which is going to be called Pumpkin Pie. Then we have Vanilla Cream, Raspberry Tart, Espresso, Fireplace, and last but not least, S'mores. Honestly, all of these look so good. I don't think there's anything here that I would not be interested in trying, smelling, picking up. If I had to choose some of my top 2 or 3, I would definitely say S'mores is calling my name. I would say Raspberry Tart is probably my most favorite, if I'm being honest. Vanilla cream looks really good. I guess if you're interested in pumpkin spice, you could get pumpkin tart too, or pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie also looks good, but I feel like that's my least favorite because I personally am not a fan of like pumpkin infused flavor profile. So that's just my personal preference. But all of these look really good. And I'll be honest, lately, I have been getting into wearing hair perfume more than ever before. I mean, not hair perfume technically, but I've just been spraying my fragrances into my hair, and I really do like having that base of fragrance like on my hair where I can just like layer fragrances all over my body and kind of have like a bunch of different scents going all around me. If that makes any sense, it sounds a little bit weird, but this is actually something I would be interested in trying out. Yeah, if I had to choose, okay, if I had to choose one, my favorite is raspberry tart. That one looks delicious, but all of these, like I said, look absolutely wonderful. Yeah, this is actually so exciting. They've come out with like a few other releases, but I feel like this one is the one that I'm the most drawn towards just because it's so quintessentially fall and it looks absolutely delicious. So this is absolutely a smash hit in my personal opinion. Okay, another new Gourmand perfume by Narcotica. This will be called Love Me Latte, and this fragrance has top notes of pear, white cherry, fig, and coconut milk, amid of caramel, brown sugar, milk, and vanilla caviar, roasted coffee beans, champaca, lily of the valley, and ambrette, and then a base of Madagascar vanilla, amber, gaiac wood, tonka, musk, cedar, and sandalwood. Boy oh boy, we have a lot going on here. I am really intrigued by this. I don't have any full bottles from Narcotica, but I will say this, I've tried a few of their fragrances and they do gourmands exceptionally well. Dolce Diablo is one of the best niche gourmand fragrances I've smelled. When it comes to niche fragrances, I tend to be very discerning with what I actually am drawn towards and what I'm not. There are some fragrances that don't really spark my imagination, but if a niche fragrance is priced at a certain level and it smells absolutely amazing, I do think it's worth that investment. Yes, you're talking about a really expensive bottle, but if it smells really good and super photorealistic, I think it's worth it to at least put on the wish list. And in this case, this is absolutely one I'd love to smell. I like the kind of concept of having that caramelized pear accord, and that's what it looks like they'll be going for here with the milk. This sounds absolutely amazing. This sounds delicious. The marketing for it looks irresistible. I love this. I'm actually really excited about potentially trying this. And I find it interesting that they're going for the white cherry accord here because I've talked so many times about how cherry has been a little bit overdone in the fragrance world, and I like seeing something that's a little bit imaginative with the added note of cherry. I think that's really cool and interesting. This is absolutely something that I would love to try out. Next, we have 3 new fragrances by Born to Stand Out. This is a South Korean brand, and they have Filthy Musk, L'Animal, and Naked Laundry. So they're known for creating fragrances that push the envelope in terms of their marketing, in terms of the naming. It's very, like, for example, I think they had like Dirty Honey or something along the lines of that, and that was pretty much like a very intense smelling honey perfume. But they don't say, oh yeah, this is going to be an intense honey. They add like an adjective to the name that kind of like sparks your attention with the marketing. So that's their approach. They're very edgy. They're kind of like out pushing the envelope when it comes to that. But the fragrances themselves, let's go into the notes. Filthy Musk is supposed to be a dirtier musk fragrance with top notes of pineapple, honey, and animalic musk, a heart of patchouli essence, nutmeg essence, jasmine absolute, and animalic musk, and then a base of vanilla, caramel, another animalic musk, ambroxan, grey amber, tonka absolute, rum extract, and civet. Next, we have L'Animal with notes of pure jungle essence at the top, rum, nutmeg essential oil, addictive almond paste, a heart of essential suede, heliotrope flower, and mugain, and then a base of gaiac wood essential oil, dirty honey, sensual sandalwood, and erotic vanilla. Naked Laundry It has top notes of mandarin essential oil, aldehyde, ambriol, and scatol. Alright, so then heart notes of mimosa absolute, white caramel, honey, and zaffarel, and then a base of tonka bean absolute, tonky tone, essential milk, and ambery woods. Okay, objectively, the notes do look interesting. There's a lot going on here, and these are definitely, absolutely, certainly try before you buy kind of fragrances. I would not ever buy these blind. For Naked Laundry, they literally have like the fragrance on a wet laundry sheet. That's like pushing it. That's pushing it. I don't know. I think that it kind of serves to have like a bit of a discussion. When is it too much? Like when is the marketing, like when does the marketing cross a line when it comes to fragrance? Because I don't know if I'd want to spend so much money on a fragrance that literally says Naked Laundry. And maybe someone would, and maybe I'm just not the right customer for it. But objectively, these fragrances do look really interesting. But just like the naming and the marketing is like pushing it. They're essentially going for, you know, a very sensual way of marketing, and it's interesting. I'm not opposed to it because I think like it's something different. And I think the scent profile or like the scent pyramid, it's unique enough to the point that I don't think they're just doing something new when it comes to the marketing. It seems that they're actually trying to be a little bit innovative when it comes to the scent pyramid as well. I would definitely want to smell this. I'm curious about it. But the overt sensuality of the marketing campaign is giving me pause because that is a lot. I mean, it's kind of like Dias and Durga, right? Dias and Durga, they kind of have been known for releasing fragrances that very much push like they kind of like push the envelope when it comes to like the sensuality aspect, but not as much as this. Or like they push the envelope when it comes to like the marketing aspect. They market their fragrances in a very like overt way. They have like very interesting themes. This one is very much like pushing it even more. So yeah, I'm curious about these. I'm definitely not gonna buy these blind. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Would you buy a fragrance that smells like this? Or would you buy a fragrance that has a naming system like this? Next, we have Almond Suede by Arquiste. So this plays with the notes of marzipan and leather. This will have notes of honey. Oh, honey. Honeycomb, bitter almond, bergamot, and pink pepper. A mid note of concrete, saffron, labdanum, orange blossom, and neroli. And then a base of suede, pine tar, sugar, and vanilla absolute. I'm actually really interested in this. This is something I'd absolutely love to try. You guys know how much I love suede and leather. This is absolutely something that I would very much be open to sampling. Arquiste is a brand that I've kind of been sleeping on. I've sampled a few of their fragrances, I believe, last week at Scent Explorer, but now, after having like some time to kind of look over what they have, I am very interested in potentially trying some more things from this brand. And this one looks really cool. I don't think I've seen a lot of interpretations of suede with honey. It's not super common, and I do love suede, and I feel like this would be like a little bit of something sweeter for the fall time. And I also love labdanum. Labdanum is one of those notes right now. Whenever I see it, I want it. So yes, this is absolutely something that I'd like. It looks very unisex, very unique, quite interesting. This is absolutely something I'd be interested in trying out. We have another fragrance by the House of Oud. Now this is called Dear Karma, and this is a very interesting kind of fragrance because they have like the eye on there. So it's supposed to be a fragrance with neroli, rose, absinthe. So let's get into the notes. We have top notes of frozen absinthe, incense, neroli, and rose petals, a mid of bruleed sugar, saffron, patchouli, and myrrh, and then a base of leather, vetiver, ambergris, and musk. Again, the fact that they're putting in leather really piques my interest with this one. I haven't seen a lot of fragrances with the note of absinthe. I do like the incense. I think that they're doing an interesting kind of combination here because they have like a lot of boozy notes with florals and a touch of gourmand elements. So this is something that I would be interested in trying out. I do think the bottle looks very cool and interesting. I think a lot of people find the House of Oud bottles really weird. I actually really do like them. I think when a brand that's a little bit up there in price, a little bit more niche, comes out with unique bottles that really look like something special, I think that's something quite commendable. And I do like that their bottles are opaque. So I tend to store my fragrances in their boxes because most brands don't have their fragrances in opaque boxes, or in opaque bottles rather. Okay, so I store my fragrances in this room, and this room, as you can see, is extremely bright, and therefore I'm very nervous about the light affecting my fragrances, because it wouldn't be like having a fragrance out in like a typical room, because this room is abnormally bright and I don't like to, I mean, I like it that way. And I like to kind of display fragrance bottles that have like an opaque, you know, design to them. And this is something that I would like, but that's personal preference. So yeah, I do like the House of Oud. They have a few fragrances that I have been interested in. I feel like their jewels collection is very intriguing, and this is actually one that I would be interested in trying out as well. So this is not something that's like standing out to me as a potential love, but it is something that I would keep my eye out for and be interested in trying out. Okay, new from Imaginary Authors, they have the fragrance called Untamable. This will feature notes of leather saddle, tonka resin, and cumin at the top, a heart of saguaro blossom and Texas yellow star, and then a base of tumbleweed and paso fino. So this looks really interesting, and it's inspired by Texas, obviously, and it's supposed to be a fresh and herby fragrance juxtaposed with those leather notes. I'm intrigued by this because I do happen to be from Texas, but objectively looking at the fragrance notes themselves, I don't know if I'd be drawn to a fragrance that has leather with an herbal kind of accord to it. I feel like that would lean a little bit too masculine for my taste. Now, of course, I'm being really picky because there have been so many fragrance launches announced this past week with notes of leather and suede, and typically I like something that is a little bit more solidly unisex when it comes to leather. Either it's a little bit sweet or a little bit aromatic, but I like to have it done in a certain way, and I feel like with the note of like tumbleweed, this might lean a little bit too masculine for my taste, but I feel like this would be amazing. I'd love this on a guy, but I don't know if I would be interested in even really sampling this because it seems like it leans a little bit too masculine. Of course, we'll see what people say about this, but that's just my consensus. But if you're a guy out there and you love leather, this might be one to keep an eye out for. Or if you are like me and you're from Texas and you just want to have a Texas-inspired fragrance, this will be an exciting launch as well. Alright, so those are all the fragrances I have to cover today. So many interesting ones. I mean, compared to previous weeks, I feel like right now we're seeing a lot of really interesting and noteworthy releases. I'm so tempted by a lot of these fragrances. I'm excited to sample them. Is there anything that stood out in particular to you? Are you excited about any one or several fragrances? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. Oh my gosh, that is such a loud train. Oh my gosh, I literally forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, let me know what stood out to you. Is there anything that you absolutely do not want to try, or anything that is really intriguing you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. But yes, thank you so much for watching till the end of this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.